What's up, world? Just fucking got out the shower, man. It's fucking 11:30. I went to bed at like 6 o'clock, 6:30. About that, something like that. My normal routine, it's what I'm trying to do. The latest I can get to bed is like 8 o'clock because I gotta get up at 10:30, 11, 10 o'clock every night. So I try to go to bed around 6 and get up around 10. That's not always the case though. It's different every time. It's never the same because a lot of times when I travel at night, even on the bike, it's not that great. During the summer, now that it's getting warm, it's a lot easier for me. That's why I've been planning all this. I gotta get all this in, and try to get down. I gotta get to Maine, and then down to Georgia, the end of the trail by the end of the summer. And I plan on doing this all by foot, and recording everything as I walk down the trail. I'm hoping that Margarita will be off her contract and I can afford to bring her wherever I'm at, and we meet up. That'd be really nice. That'd be really nice. But it's been a while since we've seen each other. We haven't seen each other since last summer. So it's almost going on a year since I've seen her. We'll be going on a year soon. She's already done. She should be done with her contract soon. So sucks, having to wait that long, not seeing somebody that you have feelings for. You love. I've never loved a woman like I've loved Margarita. Never. But I've never actually had a woman in my life either. So a real woman. Those are hard to find. They are. Listen to me. They are. I don't care what anybody says, man. If you have a good woman, bro, or you believe you have a good woman, you have a good woman, stop fucking around, man. It ain't worth it. It isn't. I bought a packet of black cherry Kool-Aid today. It was like 59 cents. I was on my way back home. I just filled this up with my water I boil, and I put some sugar in there. The rest of my sugar, I'm out of sugar now. I saved just a little bit for my coffee tomorrow. Yeah. So now I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do. Normally on the boat, I'd be checking everything. I would be going through routine checks. I'd be grabbing my clipboard and I'd be going down the list and checking batteries, checking fuel, checking water, checking food, checking the bilge pumps, checking, radio checks, security checks. I make around on the boat, it's kind of a big boat, so gotta have this, You're gonna be in international waters. You gotta have something like this. You can't be anywhere without this, man. Not on the water, I'm sorry. You just can't. You gotta have it. So, now Mossberg 500. I got it because it breaches 3-inch shells, I can put 2 3/4 shells in there. And I ain't got to worry about it blowing up in my face like an older Smith & Wesson, The 1912 Smith & Wessons would be great. If you see one, grab one. But, another reason why I got this is because the way it disassembles, I can take this apart with no tools. This comes apart, I can fully disassemble it, and reassemble it without tools. So, it's only a 3-piece set, You got, your barrel, you got you know, your chamber where you put all your bullets in, and you know, your stock that you pull back. Simple pistol grip. I use Winchester Super X slugs. Those are what I prefer. I do have some USA buckshot. It racks off pretty good, man. You know, I'm happy with it. You know, and I haven't had any 3-inch shells yet. I haven't breached any 3-inch shells, you know, through it yet. But I got this came off a bag. I had a bag that was falling apart, so I took this off and put this on it, which helps because I can just do this, you know. So as I walk, you know, if I'm walking around the boat or whatever. But the other reason why I got it too is not just for security, for defense, you know, purposes, but for, you know, hunting and stuff also, you know. Or like, you know, somebody could be caught up in a chain or something, you know what I mean? And we can't get the chain off around their leg, you know, you fucking blow the chain off, you know? That's what those 3-inch shells are for, you know. I can, you know, if a padlock's locked down or something like that, you know, you're out in sea, you're fucking, you know, you're not gonna go blow the padlock on the boat, but, you know, you have it. So, yeah, I traded my rear end for it. I had that red truck that's out there. I listed the rear end, the 410 rear end, for $600. And I got a call for it. He offered me $300, which was half the price. I'm like, bro, this is a 410 rear end with 40,000 miles on it. It's from American Axle, you know. I got paperwork. So, he didn't message me back, man. And it was like 2 weeks, and I only got like one other message from dude. Dude asked me, you know, what gear it was. I told him it was a 410. He said he was interested, but never responded back. So like 2 weeks go by, and kid calls me, you know. I was like, you know, I got a repo truck. I repossess vehicles for a living, you know, and my dad got me this truck, and the rear end went, you know, and he's like, I ain't got the $600, but you still have that rear end? I'm like, yeah. He's like, would you trade for it? I'm like, man, what you got, you know? He's like, I got some RC car and an Xbox. I'm like, man. I'm like, first of all, I'm like, the Xbox. I'm like, if it's Xbox One, I might think about it, you know, but I don't think, I was just going to sit, you know what I mean? And same with the RC car. I would love to have that type of stuff, but, you know, it's just going to sit. And I've had RC cars. They just sat last time. You know, I used it once or twice, and, you know, I broke the thing, and then it sat because I didn't want to spend any more money on it, you know, because I broke it. I hit the parking block in the parking lot. I ended up giving it to one of my friends a long time ago, man, for his birthday. I fucking spent like $1,500 on this damn thing. Gave it away. So I was like, no, dude, I don't want that, you know what I mean? He's like, man, I don't know what else I have. I'm like, well, you better figure it out. So he finally called me back and was like, hey, I got 2 chainsaws and a shotgun. And what's funny is I was looking for a shotgun, and I was looking for a pistol grip Mossberg 500, which I thought was ironic that he had one. So that's God right there for sure. You know, I grew up with pistol grip pumps, you know, and this is what was laying around the house growing up, you know. This is what I've been around my whole life, you know. I gotta tell you guys some stories, man. Some fucked up shit I've seen. Shit that's happened in my family, you know. Yeah. So, I love guns, but I don't like them. Listen, man, if you have a gun, don't ever shoot above the waist, man. Just don't. There's no need for it, man. Unless the person is, you know, shooting at you, then by all means, you know, take his motherfucking her wig off, you know. You know, I'll deal with that when judgment comes, when I talk to God. God knows. God knows what my intentions were. God knows that that person was doing some fucked up shit. I'm not gonna go blow somebody's head off for no motherfucking reason. That's why I bought a pump for a reason. Because every fucking shot's intentional. Every time I pull that bitch back, I'm pulling it back for a reason. You know? I'm pulling it back because, one, you're putting my life at risk or my family's life at risk. You know? That's the only reason why I would even have something like this. Otherwise, what's the point? To look cool? Dude, I can use my hands. I know how to use my hands and feet. Trust me. I don't need this, you know? But I also know how fucking people are, man. People think their shit's sweet, and I'm telling you, man, I've had problems, bro. Like, I don't even like having this, to be honest with you, just because I don't like guns, but because of what I've seen people do with guns. And I've seen stuff happen, man. I just, you know, I didn't buy it for what people think I bought it for. So that's why I tell everyone. And it is loaded. Keep it loaded. See? Gotta keep it loaded. Papa. It's on safety at all times. It's usually put up, but there's no kids here, you know? There's no children here. I'm the only one here. No, nobody's here. Just me, my money, my guns, my laptops. Which, I'm leaving, so, this house is going. You know, I gotta get things done. I downloaded that Cassini Nova Cassini distribution, which I think I'm gonna mess with it. I figured out what was wrong with my laptop. For some reason, Secure Boot. So UEFI is a security feature when you boot for Windows, because people were hacking into Windows a lot on booting. And it actually became a problem for a minute when they came out with UEFI, because all the Linux geeks had to develop for it. You know, none of the Linux distributions were working on UEFI when it first came out. So sometimes you gotta disable it, depending on the Linux distribution. Some of them, they support it, some of them don't. But for some reason, this computer, it's weird. It had Secure Boot enabled when I had MX Linux on it, and I had it fully locked down. Like, as soon as you turn it on, it would ask you for a password from the BIOS. And what's weird is, every time you leave Secure Boot on, it says security boot failed. It doesn't matter what I do. If I clear, like if I go in the BIOS and I clear everything and I change it, it won't do shit. So I had to disable Secure Boot. And that's as far as I got. I haven't installed it or anything like that. So that's probably what I'm about to go do. So I gotta get that done. I kinda wanna smoke. I haven't smoked yet. I took a hit off the pen, but I haven't, like, smoked, you know? Yeah, I'm gonna smoke. And then do this computer stuff. Because I'm not on the boat, and yeah, I did a little bit of cleaning. You know, it's just so much. It hurts, man, fucking doing all this stuff, man. It does. I think I'm gonna do some wax and then smoke a joint. I took a hit off of this stuff when I got home. It's actually pretty good. It wasn't bad. It's really crumbly though. Like, it's hard to get to stay on the spoon, you know, the little wax thing, whatever you call it. Waxes, I prefer indica when it comes to wax. And most of your waxes are indica. Most of them, not all the time though. This is Anarchy Extracts, which, you know, it's the cheaper kind. I usually buy the local ones, but they're $30, man. They're $30 a pop. You get 2 grams though. I was actually impressed. This actually had CBD in it, which is hard to find as well. Um, it says 80.17 THC, and then it has 0.19 CBD, which is actually pretty high. A lot higher than the Loco. But you still can taste the extraction, the way they extract it. You can still, you can taste the ether, the alcohol extracted. It's kind of rough, compared to the higher end, waxes, extracts and stuff. But that's another thing I've been struggling with, man. The boat, legality type stuff. I gotta really figure out, where I'm gonna be. But, I'm going to be mostly in the Bahamas, like Caribbean area, warm water. They don't fuck with you down there, man. All them, they all get stoned down there. They all smoke weed, You're talking about Jamaica and Haiti and all that. But, you still got problems with people, I'm not trying to have problems with U.S. Customs. That's what I'm worried about. I'm not trying to deal with them. I'm not. And I don't need them to have any reason to just, tear apart my boat and shit, So, that's one thing I've been kind of like dealing with in my mind, in my head. So I figured concentrates are probably going to be my best bet. Especially in the salty air and the environment, Bud is gonna be hard to keep fresh. If I vacuum seal it, obviously it's gonna be fine. Which, I will. I'm gonna be bringing Bud with me. I have to have it. I'm gonna be on the water for months at a time, so, I gotta have my pot, man. Out of all my bubblers, this is what my favorite one. I've owned a lot of them over the years. They always get broke. The reason why they always get broke, though, is because people always pass them around and shit. If you ever buy a bong, make a table for it, like I have right here. Don't let people fucking walk off with it. If they want to smoke, tell them go sit in the chair, smoke over there. They don't need to be walking around the house with the bong and shit. You don't need to be passing the bong over there. That's why the shit always gets broke. I'm serious. So, that's why I have the table, Which, the boat is going to be swaying back and forth, which I'm going to have to figure out where to put this in. Because that is coming with me. I don't care. It's going in my car. It's hard to clean sometimes. Really hot water. All I do is use really hot water. And most of the time, the hot water is good enough. It gets it all out. And just cleaned it not too long ago, and then it doesn't take long to get dirty. And I'm pretty stoned. That one hit got me. But it didn't go last long, I can tell. That's why I want to smoke a joint. Oh, shit. I haven't figured out what port I'm going to be in. I do have an idea of the harbors I want to use. I started looking into them. They're kind of expensive, man. But the stuff that you have, the access to, and they have, the thing is the reason why I was looking at this place is because you buy a thing with them, and they have many harbors, they have them all over the country, all over the United States, mostly down the East Coast, but they have them in the Great Lakes as well. So if I wanted to come back to Michigan, I could just sail back up here. I wouldn't have to dock down there. I could come right up here and go right to that harbor, and I'd have a dock. I'd have access of the internet. You know, I'd have bathrooms, showers. It's just like a resort. That's exactly what it is. But it's expensive, dude. It's expensive. Really expensive. So this is yeah. Well, I already started booting. It just had a little boot menu, and it had the little, you could click up and down to pick what you wanted, and then it just asked if you wanted to boot Endeavor OS, or if you wanted to like do a memory test or something like that. It gives you a bunch of different options. So right now it's just booting off the USB. All I'm gonna be doing is installing this right this minute. See what happens. See how it looks. That's another thing I like about Linux too. A lot of Linux distributions, they're live disks. So you can, for instance, you know, put it on a disk or a USB, and you can boot off of the disk or USB from the BIOS. Once you do that, you can literally run the system live. So like I could walk up to a Windows machine, for instance, Windows 10 machine or laptop or, desktop. And I could put this, hard drive in there. Flash drive in there or the CD drive, and I could boot off of it, and I'd have a full operating system. And then you can access their hard drive as well if it's not locked down. See how it's locked? That's why I lock mine. That way somebody, if they walk out to my computer, and they put a flash drive in there, and boot off of it, which my system's locked down anyways, but even if they were to figure out the password, they would still have to decrypt my hard drive. So that's why I encrypt my hard drive, because, I got information on there, like my Bitcoins and stuff. If my Bitcoins weren't on there, I probably wouldn't do it, if I wasn't doing business like that. And if I wasn't traveling, I wouldn't do it like that. Like that machine, that Windows 10 machine, it's just got video editing shit on it and stuff, that doesn't have all that bullshit on it. So, just got Windows 10. I literally just got Windows 10 on it. I got Norton Antivirus and NordVPN. I like Norton Antivirus for Windows for some reason. Out of all the virus stuff for Windows, I prefer Norton. Their VPN sucks. It doesn't let you do any torrenting, which I understand why. But for the most part, their VPN's straight for browsing. It's faster than NordVPN when it comes to browsing the internet. It is. But it doesn't let you do as much as NordVPN. And NordVPN, I like NordVPN. Which I got to get that to work too with my Linux machine. And I had problems with Linux Mint, trying to get it working with Linux Mint. MX Linux, I got it to work just fine. So, yeah. But the Windows machine, it's weird. Like, I used to dual boot a lot, but I don't do that anymore now. I just leave, like, the Windows on the Windows machine. I don't know. I've come to do that way as I've gotten older. Because I got multiple machines too, that's kind of why too. There's no need for me to put Linux on that machine because it just runs, all I use that machine for is videos. And, like there's games on there, you can game on it. It has GTA 5 on there. I have the Xbox One controller, a red controller, ex-girlfriend bought me actually. She was a good person, man. Brittany was a good person. She just, you know, she lost her parent, she lost her dad, and her dad was her closest person, you know, and her mom lives in Florida. It was just funny. I'm going down there. I don't know her mom, but like personally, but I know what, you know, this woman has told me about her mom, and she didn't like her mom, so she had a lot of, you know, mental problems and stuff, and like would take it out on me, you know, act like it's my fault, like I'm causing the problems, and I was not, dude. I was not, bro. You're the problem. Trust me. I have no problems. There's no problems here. I have no period problems. Trust me. My fucking vagina's not bleeding. I don't have fucking. No. I'm not bloated. You know, I'm not irritated. I get irritated, but not like that. Not like that. No. So it just. I don't know, but yeah. Linux. Linux is definitely the way to go, man. It is. And you don't. There's no viruses out there. Like, you know, there is, you know, people can create viruses for it, but there's no, like, the people that use it and stuff, you know, they're not targeting Linux users, really. You know, they're targeting people that are stupid because you know, they're targeting people that leave their tax information on their computer, you know, have that type of stuff on their computer, you know, or passwords, you know, they like to hit like web services like Facebook, or you know, like Target or Walmart, or you know, all these different places that where people sign up, you know, and they put their email in, and then they put a password in, because when they do that, they have all those passwords, right, in emails. I mentioned in another video, if you were hacking, you'd have to brute force attack my stuff, which would take forever. If you know, unless you did it another way. So in order to brute force it, you have to literally have the password in a text file. So if this person hacks that web service, for instance, you know, whatever it is, and gets all the passwords and all those emails, you know, and then he organizes them in a hierarchy, you know, like in a sophisticated way, in a text file, and then was able to open up a program, for instance, like Aircrack NG, or Metasploit, or you know, there's so many different um, you know, programs or libraries that you can use you know, to do all these things. So you know, because the libraries and these programs are running in the background in the first place. So you know, if you learn how these systems work, you can figure all that stuff out. And you know, you can get on the internet, figure all this stuff out anyways, you know? People write up this stuff all the time, all the documents and stuff. I couldn't tell you how much documentation there is for like Backtrack or Kali Linux, which is one of my favorite operating systems. So, yeah, I recommend checking it out, you know? Um, so I'm gonna go ahead. What's funny is it's actually, I just noticed it's 28 minutes. I've been doing a long video. So I'm just gonna install it, see what happens. Looks like it says it has a log tool, which is cool. Log tool, which I've never seen that before on the taskbar. This says your Ethernet card is set up to use the kernel driver R8169 by default. In some rare cases, the R8158 driver works better. If your Ethernet connection has problems with the R8169, you can use the R8168 driver. So I'm just going to run the default one. This should be fine. I don't see why I'd be having any issues. So it gives me a whole bunch of stuff. It says start the installer, install community editions, which is probably, you know, they probably have like different versions, you know, that they develop with window managers. You know, you got a lot of different window managers. There's a lot of them. You know, the most recent ones are Cinnamon Mate, which is Linux Mint. Those are the most popular, Cinnamon and Mate right now. Because they give you the most desktop feel, like the older desktop with the bar at the bottom. Because like when Ubuntu, if you ever use Ubuntu, which is one of my favorite operating systems, by the way, but Ubuntu really started the whole Windows 8 thing, like the touchscreen thing. They came out with that way, like Windows kind of copied them. Um, Ubuntu was the first to use that thing, you know, the UI. They were really pushing for it back in the day. In case anybody wants to know. Um, but people didn't like it. People were so used to the old desktop. People were like, "Dude, this sucks," you know. And it did. It was terrible. Especially for just like regular productivity stuff, you know. It was only nice for regular, you know, for tablets. It wasn't good, or for a touchscreen, you know, like laptop. It wasn't. That's the only thing it was good for. Otherwise, why do you need it? So they came out with, you know, Mate and Cinnamon, and that's why I like Linux Mint as well. And they call them forks too. Like a lot of times, like a lot of these programs, they don't, the developers can't come to an agreement, so like they'll split, you know, and one will go this way, like these people will go that way and develop something, and then these people will go that way and develop something. It might not even be because they disagree. It might be because of you know, um private matters, you know, like business matters, copyright matters, you know. You know, they own it, and you know, or in, you know, that type of stuff. You know what I'm talking about. Everyone knows what I'm talking about for the most part. So, yeah. But it has all these other different stuff, you know, customizing the install process, but I don't need any of that stuff. You know, it comes with a partition manager right off the rip, which is kind of nice. So, like, if you were to, like, have a Windows system that had some problems, like, or you just wanted to, you know, repartition a hard drive or part of the hard drive, or save some data, or you could back up all their data with this live disk onto the flash drive or another hard drive, and then you would just use the partition manager and you could repartition it and then put the data back on, or you could, you know, reinstall Windows, whatever you got to do, you know. That's why also I like Linux too. It's a very useful tool to fix Windows computers as well. Um, it makes the process simpler for me. So I just hit start, install. It's given me two options, online, offline. It says online method lets you choose your desktop with vanilla theming. Internet connection is required. It says offline method gives you an XFC desktop with EndeavourOS theming. Internet connection is not needed. Um, I want the XFC desktop, but I'm gonna go online because I'm sure it's gonna ask me. Because it usually asks you, like, I'm sure by the offline it was XFC default by default. It's not connected to the internet. That would help, huh? I wonder if my internet's still on. I need to pay it. What's the password? I gotta think of the password. Hold on. Oh, yeah, that's it. So I just got this internet not that long ago, and it's Spectrum is good, man. My last video or one of the other videos, I'm impressed. That's another thing too. I forgot to plug it in. They always want you always like, if you have a laptop or even a phone, make sure, like, if you ever update your Android phone or like iPhone, make sure it's at least above 50%. Like, if you can't, like, if you're in a situation and you can't have it fully charged, make sure it's at least 50. Because if you're in, you know, if you're installing the system software and it dies, you'll brick your phone, they call it. The phone will be a paperweight. It will be useless. That's all you'll be able to use it for. So, and then now it's funny because you plug it in, it doesn't tell you, it doesn't go away. So I probably gotta close it and restart it. I'm sure that's what I gotta do. So here we go. Wow, that's cool. So ready for takeoff. Why not? I like the way it looks, man. You can tell, like, the theme. I like purple's my favorite color. Um, it's got purple. That's kind of why I was attracted to it, to be honest with you. And the name is cool, and it's all spacey. And the stuff I'm gonna be doing, like all the networking stuff, and electric stuff, and me chasing, storms, and it just I want to go out there and study the stars and stuff. That's another thing I didn't mention yet. I mentioned before, like on my Facebook, on my hashtagging, but um, there's no light pollution out there. So if I'm here in the city, we got lights everywhere. And it's hard to find a place. And if I go out in out in the woods, there's trees everywhere. I'm not saying you can't find a spot. I'm sure there's plenty of spots. I'm sure many people are gonna say you can go here, here, here. But that's not what I want to do. I want to go sailing. So, um, plus there's more to it. In the southern hemisphere, you can see more. There's certain, you can see different things, and then you can't see in the northern hemisphere, and the vice versa. There's stars you can see in the northern hemisphere you can't see in the southern hemisphere, and there's specific constellations I'm intrigued by. I want to study, which I'll bring up in some other videos eventually. So. Well, I mean, it says America, Detroit, usually it says New York, but I'm online, so it knows. Alright, so it says, please pick one of these desktops. Definitely going with XFCE4. So these are what I was saying, they have all these different window managers. There's so many names. See, I said there was Cinnamon Mate. GNOME is probably the best, most developed for, which Ubuntu uses, GNOME, most of the programs are going to be KDE or GNOME. That's what you'll find on most Linux distributions, which, like, even though I'm downloading XFCE Window Manager, like, a lot of the programs I'll be downloading were going to be, like, GNOME programs, KDE, based programs. But they'll work, because I'll have the libraries installed. Linux, the desktop, that they already know, they already have all that stuff pre-figured out, That's also why I don't want to build an operating system. It's a lot nicer just to, grab something that's already been really developed, and tailored to what I need. And MX Linux was really nice, man. I'm really kind of disappointed what happened. But I like the name too, Endeavor, because of what I'm doing, I'm on an Endeavor. But XFCE says a highly customizable and lightweight desktop environment with a traditional touch and feel. The perfect choice for lower specs hardware that requires a minimum of 2 GB of RAM, but for a smooth experience, we recommend 4 GB of RAM. And that's exactly what this has. So, it's got a Intel Celeron N5100, I think like a 1.6 or something like that. It's a quad core. It's small. There's not much to this laptop. And this laptop, they're the fucking back. They're like this laptop's like those fucking laptops you get for like school. They're ones that you can't do shit with. They got like the old Windows embedded shit like back in the day. That's kind of what it was like, but when I got it, I met the kid at McDonald's on Facebook Marketplace. He wanted to meet at McDonald's. I was like, all right. He wanted $50 for it. So I'm like, let me see. He had the password. So I was like, all right. I logged into it, and he said he got it for school. He said he didn't He said that he wasn't going to school no more. That's what he told me. So, I went through it, and he had the schoolwork on it and stuff. It had Windows 10 on it, and I mean, it worked. I was actually, like, pretty impressed, you know what I mean? Like, damn, it's only got, it's only a 4 quad core. It's only got 4 gigs of RAM, and it's running Windows 10, and it ran it, but slow. Slow, slow, slow. And then, like, everything, like, I don't know, like, all the, like, you couldn't, like, all the words and stuff, it was just, like, tiny. Everything was tiny, and no matter what resolution you put on it, I don't know, man, it didn't seem right. It felt weird, like, it just didn't run good, And I was already planning on putting Linux on it anyways. I was trying to find, like, a really cheap, small laptop that was light, but was capable of running a full operating system, that wasn't, like, junk. Um, and I found this. And I'm impressed with it, man. It's a Acer TravelMate B. That's what it is. Um, like I said, I opened it up. You can't really do much unless you solder. It doesn't even have any slots to put up, like for additional RAM, which kind of was like, what? That kind of threw me off. I was not expecting that at all. I thought for sure this was going to have, like, 2 slots for for 2 pieces of RAM, 2 RAM cards, chips. But there wasn't any. Everything is on the motherboard, man. Everything is solid state as well. There's no moving parts on this thing. There's no fan. There's no it had a little pipe. It had a heat sink on it with a pipe, but there was no fan, man. It was impressive. And it doesn't really get hot. I mean, it gets warm, but it doesn't really get hot. It doesn't. It really doesn't. And it's straight, dude. It's got the feet, and the bottom one. I'm impressed with that because a lot of times these come off, these little tabs, because they make them too small, too tiny. So they don't have enough surface area, enough glue. And you can see they made them long. So that means there's going to be, a lot of stickiness, glue area for glue to stick. That means it's going to stay for a while. And then it has this long one, so it doesn't slide around nice. It stays. Dude, and it has USB-C. It has HDMI. It has a headphone jack. It has Ethernet, RJ45. And it has USB over here. And it has a micro SD slot. And it looks like, it looked like it might have had a stylus. You could possibly put a stylus there, maybe. There's nothing there that goes there. I haven't looked up on the internet to see what it is or what goes there, but I'm assuming it's probably for a stylus, for like a touchscreen based one. I'm assuming. I could be wrong, but I'm probably right. So, yeah. So yeah, it says, I'm surprised it still let me record. It says LTS kernel in edition, Zen kernel in edition. Why not? They're just adding more libraries, more stuff to the kernel already, which last time I seen anything Zen, I think was like Wii homebrew stuff. Serious. I don't know if you guys if anybody comes across this video, I've done like a lot of Wii modifying, where like you go to Weebrew like on the internet, you type in Weebrew, Nintendo Wii, and then you download the files from them, and you would open up the your email folder like program in the Wii, and you would run the program. You would follow the directions, and you were able to modify the Wii, and you would put a flash drive in the front, right? And when you put that flash drive in the front, you're able to download all the ROMs and stuff like Super Nintendo ROMs and like Sega ROMs from back in the day. And I was able to run these programs that they have on these websites, basically hacking the Wii, and then you could play all the old school games. So you could plug in like you could go buy like a terabyte hard drive and put it in the back of the Nintendo Wii, and like your friends could come over, like all my friends would come over and just like put their games in there, and I could copy them. So I had everybody's games, copied to the hard drive, and then I had all those Nintendo games too, and Sega games. So if anybody has a Nintendo Wii that's just sitting around, because Nintendo Wii's aren't supported anymore. If it's just sitting around getting wasted, you can bring life back to it, man. If the kids aren't using it and stuff, get on there, man. Learn how to do it. I'm serious. Go on the website. Go on Weebrew. Just type in Weebrew on Google. Figure it out. Figure out how to do it. Just make sure you know what it is. Like, make sure you follow the directions specifically. Make sure you triple check, because you can ruin it. You can mess it up. So if you don't have any like computer knowledge or anything at all, I wouldn't even attempt it. But if you do, go ahead and try it, man, because you can bring life back to the Nintendo Wii, and you can hook it up to like an old school TV, or even a newer TV, and the kids can play with it, man. You can bring all the old games back, show your kids all the games you grew up with and shit. Yeah, dude, and you got the Nintendo Wii remote too, so that makes it cool, It's pretty interesting. But yeah, so it has all these different other desktop managers. I could install them too if I wanted, but I don't need all of it, that would just add more to the operating system, and I'm trying to keep this light, so I'm gonna add printing support, of course. So support for HP printer scanner stuff. Yeah, definitely. And accessibility tools, yeah, why not? Because somebody might be able to use this that might be blind. I might be showing somebody something. I might have to magnify it for them, not for me, Or maybe I might go blind too, you never know. But the HP printer scanner, that stuff is proprietary. That's why it probably is giving me options to add support for it. Plus HP is pretty much like every printer I've ever had is either a Canon or an HP. I don't think I've ever had any other type of printer. Serious. So I'm clicking next. It says System Boot provides a simple experience which will work for most circumstances. This is the default option for Endeavour OS, which that's what I'm gonna leave. But it gives you other options like Grub, which is probably like that's what everybody was used to using back in the day. Like that's what I'm familiar with is Grub. But I've used all the stuff, So, but yeah, they call it Grub. So you can replace partition, all that stuff. It says right here, EFI select storage device. So it says 116.48 gigabytes, which is that 128, which is stupid because I have another 128 gigabyte flash, hard drive, SSD, but there's no slot in here to even pop it in. You have to solder it on. I'm like, what? So I was thinking maybe they have like some like a little piece like a little wire adapter I could solder and use that hard drive. It's possible. I gotta go see, but I'm probably just gonna buy one because I'm not gonna go solder on 128 gigabyte. if I desolder the one that's in there and do all that type of solder work, I'm gonna solder on a terabyte one, you know? At least a terabyte. So we're gonna erase the disk on all of it. And I want swap because there's only 4 gigabytes on here. So it asked me if I want swap, no Hibernate, swap with Hibernate, or swap to file. Swap with no Hibernate, I'm assuming you would have to wait to the even when the RAM gets full, it always just uses, I'm assuming it always just uses the swap. I'd have to look that up. And swap with Hibernate, I'm assuming it only uses it when the RAM is at 100%. But let's look that up, because actually, you know what's funny? I've never had an operating system ask me that, ever. It's only just asked me for swap or not. Which, I've heard these terms before, but it makes me happy. It impresses me, shows me that this might be a really, really good operating system. You know, I'm serious. So let's type this in, swap with Hibernate. And it says, see, it pops up, swap with Hibernate versus swap to file. Let's click that one, let's see what it says. It didn't say anything. Alright, here we go. It says no Hibernate. So a swap with no Hibernate, it says when the memory is full, it will outsource memory to the disk. So I thought it was the same, but I thought maybe it didn't do it at all. So I was kind of correct on the first one. I was half correct, I guess. And then it says Hibernate swap. When the memory is full, it will outsource memory to disk, plus you can hibernate to disk and resume. So I was right on that one as well. So yeah. But it's pretty cool that I'm not sure what it says, it will outsource memory to disk, plus you can hibernate to disk and resume. So all that's saying is that it can take the data from the hard drive, put it in RAM, and vice versa. The RAM can put the data in the hard drive. So basically it's creating a file on the hard drive, and it's acting as RAM. And that's